Hello there, I am G, and this is Space Hulk, Vengeance of the Blood Angels for the PlayStation 1. It is also available for the 3DO, the Sega Saturn and the PC. Now bear with me while I explain what this is. This came out in 1996, it is the sequel to an Amiga and PC game that came out in 1993, which in turn is an adaptation of a board game that came out in 1989, which is based on a tabletop strategy, you know, you collect the figures and you paint them thing, whatever that's called, wargaming. It's a fantasy wargame thing, which has been around since time immemorial here in the UK. It's called Warhammer, and it is incredibly popular over here even to this day. It is serious business. So why have I dug up this old game? Well, I was at a trade convention recently called Rezzed, and at one of the booths they had a small developer was doing a new adaptation of the Space Hulk board game, except it was more true to the original. They were just straight up simulating the board game, and I thought I had a really good time with it. So I thought, why not dig out this game, see what this was like. This is a slightly different approach. I wouldn't call it a first-person shooter, but that's maybe a bit disingenuous. There's more to it than that. This very long intro sequence is basically just filling the player in on various bits of the lore that you need to understand the specific Space Hulk setting. It only covers like 1% of the stuff though, because there are books like this thick just on Space Hulk alone, so I'm not going to go into that. I've never been a huge fan, well, that's maybe the wrong thing to say. I really like Warhammer 40k. I love just the blend of fantasy, this kind of monastic religious elements, then combined with this crazy, not cyberpunk, not futuristic, but it's very unique. It sets itself apart quite a lot from other sci-fi settings. I'm going to jump into a training mode in this historical area because this game is incredibly difficult, much like the original board game. So I'm going to jump into a training level where there's hardly any enemies so I can show what the game is, and then I'll jump into the campaign, and then you can watch me die horribly because I can't even get past the first mission. I really like this game, by the way, but I am terrible at it. Just before I do that, there are 4 different types of mission in the historical area. You've got training, which training is maybe not the right way to put it. It puts you in an area where there's not many enemies and says, figure it out. It's not a tutorial in the traditional sense, but then again, you know, games were kind of like that back in the 90s. Space Hulk Originals, I believe these are special missions based on specific missions from the board game, so they're there for people who, you know, really love the board game, and trust me, people are really into Space Hulk out there, even though there hasn't been a game for it in quite a while. So yeah, classic missions, I think these are missions taken from the first Space Hulk game, from the Amiga and PC. And then famous missions, I think what these are based on some of the wider 40k fiction, these like very specific characters who led specific lives and run these special campaigns to wipe out aliens and whatnot, and you can play particular events from that. And just from the menu here, these levels look horrifying. See if it'll load in that background thing again. Cool. That's a scary level, and you'll see why once I actually jump in. But yeah, let's just do training. There are a small number of enemies on escape, I think, so let's just see that loading in the background so I can tell. Yeah, there's not much here, so it's a pretty simple one. Yeah, so mission objective is just get this one dude to that point. Actually, this is probably a bad example because you won't see the squad management stuff. It doesn't matter. I can show you what the controls are at least. And I can just run straight for the exit and that'll end the mission. Loading, unfortunately, does take a little while, which is kind of bad when you die, and you will die a lot. It's more or less a one-hit kill if one of the aliens get up to you. I should probably say what the actual setting for this game is. Alright, so I'm probably going to get this completely wrong. Actually, I'll play while I do that. So yeah, it is first person. You do move around incredibly slowly. you can aim slightly up and aim slightly down. And for the most part, you're using this weapon called a bolter, which, again, book this thick on what a bolter is, so I'm just gonna... It's a gun. It shoots bullets that go boom. See in the bottom left there I have a little scanner thing. Basically, if you've seen the movie Aliens, this entire sub-franchise of Warhammer 40k is that sequence where they're wandering around in the tunnels and there are aliens nearby and they're like, oh, the radar's blipping, there's somewhere, oh, this is terrifying. Yeah, that is Space Hulk. the entire game is that, but made into a game. Also, I can hear some, I can see that arrow there. Oh, no, that was bad.
Where did they come from?
I love these voiceovers. Yeah, it can get quite scary. Especially if you're doing it with headphones like I am. Normally what you can do if you have other squad mates is there is a little bar at the bottom there, and that's your freeze time, and you can use that to basically turn it into the board game for a little while. So I could select a different unit and go, okay, go here, defend this place, or pick up this item, or complete this objective. You can only control one of the dudes at a time, though. It doesn't really matter on this level, because it is literally just walk up to the exit. The AI is pretty good for the most part. You can depend on them to take care of themselves, but you're pretty vulnerable. Those alien things, they will just run up to you and rip you apart. You do have this, like, power fist thing you can use to knock them back and save yourself, but I'm never quite sure if that's automatic or I'm actually doing an input to make that happen. Oh yes, a glorious victory against those two enemies. So yeah, the setting of Space Hulk. The Warhammer 40k universe, they have warp travel, but it involves going through this evil dark dimension, and sometimes they can't get out when they actually need to, so, you know, oh, we'll travel to this distant space system and, oh, well, we're stuck in warp space. Bad things happen there. And over the centuries, because Warhammer 40k is set in the year 40,000, which is partly why everything's so nuts in it, because so much time has passed that a lot of people have kind of forgotten how all the technology works, and it ends up being treated like holy relics. I'll just go on to the next mission here. Which is why you end up with all these religious undertones, which is partly why I like Warhammer 40k so much, but enough on that. So, all these ships get stuck in the warp space, and over the centuries they all end up drifting together and becoming these giant scrap heaps, which are the Space Hulks. And they're full of ancient technology, because they've been drifting around forever. They also tend to get infested by these evil aliens called the Tyranids. There's particularly a sub-species called the Gene Stealers. Again, book this thick on what a Gene Stealer is, so I'm not even going to touch on that. And I'm sure lots of people will just tell me I'm wrong about all of this, by the way. People are very passionate about the lore for 40k. But anyway, every now and then, those Space Hulks will leave the warp and end up drifting towards populated areas. So it's up to the Space Marines, in particular, like a top kind of elite level of Space Marine called the Terminators. That, I'm sure some people say, like, no, they're called this thing. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, that's what a Terminator looks like in tiny JPEG form. I do love as you try and walk past these guys, they'll just be like, rah, rah, rah. It's all this pre-recorded dialogue but compressed into just horrible PS1 sound bites. So like, yeah, let's go in here and actually give these guys orders. So, Sabathius. I love that they speak their names when you select them. Let's say Sabathius goes there. Amiel, who I believe is the guy I've got to get to the exit in this mission, can go there. And Sabathius can stay there and guard that corridor. So yeah, there's one over there somewhere. But yeah, moving your squads into the right positions is a key. Oh dear. Well, that went bad very quickly. Luckily, unless about to say, unless a dude is mission critical, you can just switch to another one, but that guy was mission critical, so mission's over. That should show you how easy it is to lose at Space Hulk. But yeah, Terminators, they wear these really cool special Space Marine armor, which is like ancient holy relics, because no one... They sort of understand how that stuff works, but... You know, there's a very finite number of people left in the universe who have any inkling of how half the technology was actually built, so they kind of have to preserve it as best they can, and it ends up being passed down from soldier to soldier over thousands of years, and each suit of armour has its own history and little attachments and things marking certain victories that people have long since forgotten. It's really interesting. Again, for the billionth time, books this thick on the various things surrounding this armour. It is a very complex and convoluted fiction, but that's why I love it. Sorry this is going so slowly, it is not a fast game by any means. So let's take that a little slower, shall we? Sabathius can go there. Bethor can guard that corridor, and I will assume control of Amiel, as he is the mission critical dude, from what I understand. So when they say Overwatch, that means they're guarding a certain area. So you can go there now. Bethor can move back a bit, and I'll stick to Amiel. Because all the weapons and stuff are so ancient, the guns have a tendency to jam after they've been used a lot, which is partly where the tension comes in the board game. I'm never quite sure if that plays a particular role in this or not. I know sometimes the AI will go, "Oh, my gun has jammed," but I don't know if that's just ambient dialogue or if the guns do actually jam in this, which is, again, a kind of terrifying thing because you die very easily, and those gene stealers, they don't really give much of a toss. They will just run straight at you. You'll see there's a blip over there, so there's an alien hanging out. I'll leave Bethor to handle that. Have Amiel guard that corridor, and I will assume the role of Bethor and just slowly walk back. Oh dear. There are different weapon types as well. There is like big bladed claws you can get, claws, flamethrowers. Flamethrowers are particularly brutal, but on the other hand they also tend to run out of ammo fairly quickly, so you have to be careful. Oh, dude. I should say that this training mission thing is an absolute walk in the park compared to the actual game. This is nothing. If Amiel go there. And that will be Bethor. I hope for that one they were just like, okay, first take. Bethor! Yeah, that'll do. We've got like 5 minutes in this recording studio, guys, so we'll just go with what you said. That works. One thing I don't like about this game is the collision detection is a bit janky. It's like you'll be trying to go around a corner and you'll just kind of bounce off it. And, I don't know, it's PS1, so what can you expect? Much as I love it, it didn't handle stuff like that very well. It probably doesn't help that this is a port of a Saturn and 3DO game. Well, I say ported. Developed simultaneously for those systems, perhaps. And you know, those systems were not the best, let's say. I know it's difficult to admit that 3DO was not perfect, but you know, someone had to say it. Oh dear, they're coming. Yeah, see, I can't turn around now because he's pushing me back and I'm just jumping against the walls. Oh, no, no! I was so close. Yeah, so you got that punch, but I'm never sure if it's automatic or not. We lost one dude pretty much instantly. There we go. Only lost one guy. Casualties are inevitable in 40k. So yeah, let's jump into one of the actual missions where you can watch me hilariously die. Oh, loading times. I do like kind of the... it's kind of the weirdness of it saying, please wait, and then there's just this gigantic, intimidating robot man there. That just makes it more funny. Please wait. But yeah, this is great. Just all this, like they're in the far-flung future where they've got all this crazy technology, yet they fly around in spaceships shaped like churches, and they have flames and thrones, and talk about blessings and gods, and it's cool stuff.
Infrastructure dates back several millennia. It is moving fast and heading.
I like the echo effect on this speech as well. It really sounds like it is in like a giant cathedral or something.
The Hulk must be stopped. Unfortunately, we cannot fusion bomb it.
Writing in the hole in Warhammer 40k stuff tends to be pretty awesome. Apart from that Space Marine game they did for the PS3 and Xbox, that was really poorly written, which was surprising. It just didn't really have that kind of religious tone that this stuff does. That's a key part of what makes these games fun, but I imagine it would also make it rather controversial in places outside the UK, so... Maybe that was why.
There must be some archived records held somewhere.
Alright, let's just
retrieve any you find.
So, in these campaign missions, at least for this first mission, you do not control a whole squad. You control one guy, which in part is kind of liberating because you don't have to worry about managing this entire crew. But on the other hand, it makes it extra terrifying because, again, one hit, you're dead. And, of course, the guy you're playing as is rather important to the storyline, so if he dies, well, you're back to this screen, essentially. It makes it even more brutal than it already is, which is saying a lot. Oh, so many objectives on this.
A power field generator must be positioned at this point. 2 Terminators must survive. All surviving Terminators must move to this area. An archived record must be retrieved.
Alright, so let's go then.
Uriel, proceed to this area.
So he's giving me orders as if I was one of the AI units. It's very tempting to kind of stop and just... oh. Well.
You have been killed.
You have been killed. Guess that's the game then. That's a very accurate representation of what playing this game is like. Oh, you looked away from the screen for 2 seconds. You're dead. You stopped to talk. You're dead. Oh, I imagine there's people out there who've just perfected this game and they exist on a level I don't think I could ever reach. I'm going to give this one more try, and when I die, and it's a case of when rather than if, I think we'll call it a day there. You've seen me screw up at this game enough today. But yeah, I really like it on the whole. It's an interesting take on the board game. I'm kind of more interested in what that more accurate representation is going to be, the one they're doing for iOS. I saw it rezzed. Although I do feel that they have taken elements from this game as well, like in the top right hand corner, even though it's a turn-based game, they have a kind of a monitor showing you what the Space Marines are seeing, kind of like this view here. So when an alien runs right up them, you've got that kind of like video feed thing. Just like, here's their battle cam. I just don't know what triggers that first attack. Oh god, there's so many. And because I'm blocking this corridor, the other Marines can't get out to attack them. But if I go outside, I'm dead. I'm dead again, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, one more try. One more try. I'm determined to at least get somewhere in this level. I've managed to get to about halfway through it before, I think. From what I remember, as long as I can get out of that tunnel and let the other Marines do their thing, I'm alright, but it's just knowing when to jump in there and going, okay, there is enough room for me to not get immediately caught by these aliens, but also enough room for me to... I don't know. It's hard to figure this thing out. On the contrary, on the other hand, the board game version that I played seemed really easy to pick up. I mean, I straight up said to the guy, like, look, I never played the board game back in the day. I do like 40k, but I'm no expert. He says, okay, here's how this works, here's how this works, here's how this works. And within minutes, I was just playing the board game, and yeah, it's very easy to pick up. Very, very much looking forward to that. I'd also like to try and play the game that came before this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this way. And yeah, there we go. To the slaughter. Yeah, I'm smart. Oh, until that guy died. Right, I'm getting out of here. Oh. Well, at least I'm still alive. Don't like the fact that door's open. Close it. Yeah, can't get through that, can you? You probably can. Okay, so I've got a new order to go over here. Yeah, I'd like to try and pick up the original version and see how different it was. Obviously, Amiga and old DOS PCs were very different systems. I believe in that version you can simultaneously see what all your squad mates are seeing, like there's various monitors across the screen. And that's how you kind of coordinate. I love how kind of put together all the audio is. Put together, that's a terrible way of putting it. But you know, like, they recorded all these separate lines and like, okay, we need him to say 5 Space Marines need to go here to collect the archived record. Yeah, it's very telling of what era the game came out in when the dialogue works like that. Archived record. I'm still alive at least. I haven't found an archived record. Let's see, how many dudes are actually left? Oh god, I can't see anyone. Is it just me? Oh no, there's 2 of them left, but they're 1,000,000 miles away. So I'm kind of on my own down here. Alright. Is this record up here?
I can't see an archived record.
There's something there. Yeah, we go. Turns out an archive record is a gigantic compact disc. Oh, wait, what did you say? Oh, I'm nervous, there hasn't been any aliens for a while. I don't know what that health meter in the top left is about, because it does seem to be one-hit kill. Oh, okay. Is that the mission done? Have I done it? Are the others just doing the objectives? Oh man, I think I've won! Yeah! Well, it's got to be a first time for everything, I suppose. This is when an alien somehow bursts out of that door there and kills me. Well, looks like I'm actually going to get onto the second mission. You're going to get that bit more footage.
All mission objectives met.
All it took was sacrificing my fellow Marines. Well, whatever. That's fitting in 40k. It's grim stuff. Yeah, there is no cheeriness to the Warhammer 40k universe. Everything is about death, destruction, the inevitability of chaos, the evil forces that lurk around every corner and want to do very bad things to you. Humanity basically just survives. It doesn't live, it survives. Oh, gotta save. She won't let me just skip saving.
We have taken the first step, brothers, but
Oh, damn it. Accidentally skipped the cool intro thing. It was probably, there are more aliens, you should go kill them. Also collect an archived record for Buffalo. Ah, Warhammer. I think there are a few other Warhammer games on the PS1, but they were mainly Warhammer Fantasy, which is of course the fantasy offshoot, which deals with a... It's basically the same thing, but with all the sci-fi stuff taken out. Well, I'm sure some people will say, no, it's not, it's very different. Oh. So many archived records. Am I playing multiple guys this time?
Caliban.
No, no, it's still automated. I kind of prefer this in a way.
Uriel, search this area for an archived record viewer.
Hello.
Nathaniel.
That Nathaniel guy, can I order him? He doesn't seem to be doing anything. No, no.
Uriel,
It's just Uriel.
search this area for an archived record viewer.
So, let's take bets. How long will I survive?
I see something.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. Where do I have to go? Yeah, let's go that way.
Uriel, search this area for an archived record viewer.
Archive record viewer.
I see something.
I wonder what those numbers are.
I haven't found an archived record viewer. Uriel,
I haven't found an archive record viewer.
the archived record. Here. There's something ahead. We must prevail.
Yeah, this guy's basically my canary. Just gonna give him a bit of distance.
This door is sealed.
Oh no, he's going that way. I have to go this way. Oh well. Once more into the breach, my friends.
I can smell them. No, that's just Uriel.
Okay. It's a
I can smell
interesting,
them.
not quite sure what he meant by that. Did I somehow fart in my suit? Not sure how I meant to get through there.
This door is sealed.
What have I meant? Oh, I see. I've got to go all the way around. Never mind.
Vengeance shall be ours.
Oh, and there's an alien there. Is he? Whoa! Whoa! I didn't see a passage there.
What was that?
Oh, where's my mission objective gone?
There is a lot of movement. Justice.
Where am I meant to go? I'm just going to assume I have to go to that area with all the X's on.
Brothers.
That sounds legit.
Be wary.
There's not been that many enemies this time. Oh,
My senses
speak of the devil, there's
stand your
a
ground.
bunch of them. They're going the other way? Oh no, that one spotted me. Where's all the others? Are they dead? Oh no, they're just going to the exit.
Look to the Emperor.
They probably completed whatever the objective was, and now I'm just gonna pretend I was part of some epic battle that they did in my stead. Oh, there's a guy coming up behind me. Alright, doesn't seem to be there anymore.
Uriel,
Ah,
advance to this room.
have I gone the wrong way? Yes, I have.
Uriel, proceed to this area.
Alright. And part of what was so terrifying about, well, terrifying, but part of what made the board game so tense is that you'd see blips on the radar like that where enemies were, but you didn't actually know how many enemies there were. You just, like, the motion sensor would pick up motion, but that's as much as it could do. So it was like, do I risk it? Is it just one standard gene stealer, or is it like a gigantic, monstrous mutation of it?
Be wary.
Really like to pick up the board game at some point, but getting an original copy is next to impossible unless you are very wealthy, and although they did do a reprint in 2009, it was in very limited quantities, so that's also quite expensive. And hey, guess what? Doing videos like this doesn't really pay the bills, so not going to be picking that up anytime soon. Well, this mission seems to have gone quite well, despite the fact I did very, very little. How strange.
Uriel, this isn't a game.
Well, I think you'll find, sir, that this very much is a game. Is that it? Are we done here? Okay.
This door is sealed.
So,
Objective met.
oh, I had to put down the record. Fair enough.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, it's just my stomach. Have I missed something? I think if I go down to this thing... You can tell this game was meant to have a mouse interface.
Here are your objectives. All surviving Terminators must exit by this point. An archived record must be positioned at this point.
Okay, done. Is there another record? Oh, there's another record up there, isn't there, that I need to pick up?
Uriel, hold position.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'm just going to call it there.
Quiet at the moment.
That is Space Hulk, Vengeance of the Blood Angels. It's pretty cool. If you're really into Warhammer 40k stuff, it's worth trying to dig this up. It's not as rare, well, it's fairly rare, but it's not as sought after as you might think, so you can get it relatively cheaply from what I've seen. I got this for like £5, I want to say, so yeah, not much. I imagine the American copy, if there is an American version, is far more expensive. I can't imagine it had a particularly large print run over there, you know. America's never really picked up on the Warhammer thing quite as much as they did in the homeland. But anyway, yeah, that's all for now. See you next time.
Keep alert, brothers.
Archived record.